Hi everybody. Okay, so I finally got done with playing 2NL back up, getting the bankroll back up to a back up to that $100 mark, so I can move up to 5NL. It did take me a while. As you can see, it took me 11,000 hands, and I was winning at 5.5 big blinds per 100. So, like a pretty modest win rate. Definitely lower than what I think I was capable of. But as I'll show you in a second, there was some pretty bullshit hands that even I remember now, like today, because of how it went down. So this is just a lesson to me that variance is still a pretty big thing. No matter how good you think you are, or how much you think you've improved, or how well you think you've played this hand, your opponents can fuck up and get rewarded for it, and that's just the way it is. So what I should do as a player is just keep playing, and keep playing. Got to be consistent. Got to be consistently good to try and overcome the variance. Eventually, you'll get there. I'm happy that I'm back up to 5NL now, and I'm going to do another video very soon covering some of my 5NL hands, because this time the shot take went really well. But for now, let's just stick to the 2NL and just do a quick review, because I know it's 11,000 hands, which is a lot of hands to get through, but I'm not going to go through like 4 hands every 1,000 hands, you know? I'm just going to go through 4 hands that I think summarized how I played, and that demonstrates some key points that I think I can learn from, and that other people can learn from as well. Hopefully I want to take them, learn from them, and then bring them forward to 5NL to try and make that shot take better, more successful. So, let's get straight into the first one. This one, I just want to showcase how you should play queens in a multi-way pot. Open from under the gun. Button calls, we squeeze to a modest size of 36 cents. Big blind cold calls, which is pretty alarming. The original raiser calls, and the caller in between folds. So we're 3-way into an inflated pot. Flop top set, queen 10-7. In a multi-way pot, the default is to just check when we're out of position, so I decide to check. Checks around to this guy who bets just over a third pot. That's 43 cents into 114. I decide to call, which I think is very standard, because we block all of the top pair combinations. We unblock flush draws, we unblock straight draws, and we want them all to try and continue. We also want to encourage this guy to do something like call or go over the top, you know. Unfortunately, he folds. Turn is a deuce. Checking our entire range is now optimal. And this guy just rips it. We have a very easy call. This is pretty demonstrative of the power of checking out of position in a 3-bet pot multi-way with your entire range, because I bet a lot of people won't expect you to have top set here, or top pair top kicker, you know. I'll do the same thing with ace queen, or 10s, or 7s, or even queen 10 suited, should I decide to squeeze that. We call, and we were up against 10-9 of hearts, which really didn't need to take this line. He could have, like, betting the flop is fine, because he's got a lot of equity, but he really didn't need to just jam the turn for pot size. He could have just checked back, you know. But, you know, he had that sweet 18% equity going towards the turn, going towards the river, sorry, and unfortunately for us, we hold. Okay, this hand, moving forward, we get a limp. We ISO with Jack 9 suited. Fold, big blind calls, and the limper calls as well. We're pretty deep with the big blind. We're not so deep with the limper, which is something to note. We flop a boat. Check, check. It's up to us. Generally, in a multi-way pot, we should be c-betting with a much tighter value range than if we were heads up. So we're not going to bet 1/3 with our entire range. Instead, I think we should bet 1/3 pot with our strongest value and with our strongest bluffs, and then check the rest. So we have strong value, we flopped a boat, so we bet 1/3. Get click back, falls to us. When we get clicked, I think it's fairly interesting. Like, should we decide to 3-bet, or should we decide to flat? I think it's a lot simpler for our game tree if we just flat our entire range here, but because we're so deep, I can certainly see some merit for just 3-betting. The click back to me represents like a combo draw, a 9, some kind of top pair, some kind of like, ace jack, king jack that decides to just click it back for no reason. If we 3-bet small, we can certainly get a call, but I think we could scare a lot of it off. Combo draws are always going to continue, 9x is always going to continue, and we can just flat and allow them all to continue. But I think thinking about it, I think 3-betting is just better, to be honest. 3-betting just gets more money in the middle, just because we're so deep. Yeah, I think we just 3-bet to like 50, 60 cents. Maybe 75 cents if we were being greedy. But we've got no hands on this guy. We have no idea how he plays. But yeah, in reality, we just call. 8, pretty good card because a lot of his combo just got there. A lot of his 9x, like his 9x suited, made a smaller boat. And he decides to overbet, which is pretty fantastic. This is tells me that he's got a really strong hand. It tells me that he's got like Queen 10 or 9-8 or Jack 9 himself. Or like 10-9. So we could jam here, which I think is the best option, because if we jam here, we get called by his combo draws and his Queen 10. That might fold on like a bad river, If the river was an 8 and he had Queen 10, he's not going to pay me off. So I think we should just jam here and capture all the EV right now. So in reality, I just had to call. So I think on the flop and on the turn, I should have been more aggressive, being somewhat passive here. The river is the Queen of Diamonds, so his combo draws missed. But if he does have clubs, he's got the opportunity to bluff now. His 10x made a straight now, which is a lot of his range. So, just his range is very strong at this point. He jams, which is kind of expected because a lot of his range got there, and obviously we called it off. And we're expected to win versus pretty much everything. Except he has queens, which, God, I hated seeing that hand in real life because that was a real kick to the teeth. That was. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if we played it better, if we 3-bet the flop, he could have found the fold, but he's probably not. He's probably going to call because I mean, he valued his queen so highly that he overbet the turn, so he probably wasn't going to fold to a 3-bet on the flop. He wasn't going to fold if we jammed on the 8 either, was he? Probably, because he turned a gut shot. He probably would have called. But yeah, nothing we can do there. We obviously just are happy to get the money in that way. Okay, this hand. We see an open. We 3-bet with aces. Folds to the original raiser who decides to 4-bet. Fantastic. Because we're slightly deep, I think flatting is the only real option. I think having a 5-bet range is kind of face up. It's really hard to balance that out. And if we 5-bet jam, it's like, well, we're risking $3 to win 74 cents, but our 5-bet shoving range is going to be so strong that he can pretty much fold queens and ace king, which is where a lot of our value will come from. So I think if we flat and go forward from there, it's a much more profitable spot. If he had 150 left, so if he started the hand with 100 big blinds, then I can definitely see 5-bet shoving being a thing, because we'll be risking a lot less, right? We'll only be risking $2 to win 74 cents instead of $3, which is a huge difference mathematically. However, since we are deep, I think we should just flat our entire continuing range. So we decide to flat. Queen 8-6, pretty good board. His ace-kings missed, his queens make top set, and his kings are still an overpair. He decides to just jam 2.5x pot, and obviously we're happy to just snap it off. He's probably spazzing. So we flat, and we face 8-6 suited, which flopped 2 pair on the flop and decided to jam, which obviously is not a real line because he loses all of his value from ace-king. He loses all his value from flush draws. He gets beat by top set, but he does capture all the EV from aces and kings straight away. Yeah. It's just the fact that he decides to flat my 4-bet out of position. It's just, yeah, okay. Okay, dude. Okay, last hand to go through, which I think demonstrates a point that I should definitely take forward to 5NL. Open, we squeeze ace queen offsuit from the small blind, and we get a defend. The flop is queen 7-5. We should bet our entire range 1/3, which we do, and we get a call. 5 rip turn doesn't really change anything, but we want to try and capture all the EV from a queen X as much as possible. If our opponent has king queen suited or queen jack suited, we want to try and get it all. So we need to size our bets in a way that means we can get it all by the river. We are slightly deeper than usual, so it does require us to size up a little bit. Default, I would have bet 55% pot, but because we're somewhat deeper, I just size up a little bit, make it 2/3, because if he calls, he'll have 180 left into a pot of 2. Fortunately for us, the river is a pretty bricky river. Queen 10 suited is only one combination, Queen 10 of diamonds specifically, and we should try and get all the value from Queen Jack and King Queen. We obviously chop with Ace Queen as well, and we lose to 7s, but we want to try and get all the EV and bet for value. I think that a lot of people might consider this too thin, but it's really not. Like, most of his range is King Queen, Queen Jack, so we need to try and get value from them. We jam for value, and we do get called by King Queen, which is awesome. That is a large pot going our way. It's always nice to get the second best hand to continue for their entire stack when you're not nutted per se. Okay, so those hands are pretty much how the overall session went down. It was very up and down, as you can see, but we managed to get that nice upswing towards the end, and we'll be moving forward to 5NL. Okay, we'll see you then. See you then. Peace.